Jose from stampinjoe.com, and welcome to today's video. So in this video, I'm going to show you this beautiful card that I made using some sale-a-bration products. So the stamp set is a free product, and so is this designer paper. So I'm going to show you both to begin with. It's part of the Friendly Hello bundle. So the Friendly Hello bundle comes with this beautiful stamp set. It's got this bird, some flowers, the leaves, little sprigs, greetings, and a nice big greeting. And on its own, it's really, really pretty, but it comes as a set of two in our sale-a-bration brochure, along with this designer paper. So in the catalog or in the brochure, it really doesn't show it that nicely, so I thought I would show you all the designs of this paper. It's double-sided, it's 12 by 12. What's great about our papers is in the catalog and on the back on this little sheet, it tells you the colors that it coordinates with. So it made it really easy for me to design the card using the colors on here. So you've got basic black, fresh freesia, granny apple green, petal pink, pool party, and shaded spruce. So you know they're double-sided. So we have this one here, which is just beautiful speckled. Then on the other side is this design, which is the design that I'm using in today's card. You have these beautiful polka dots in a variety of colors. This one here. And then you've got the fresh freesia with already, it looks like pre-stamped flowers on them, which is really fun. On the other side of that is this one here. Then you have this beautiful, I love this one. It's such a pretty subtle color on here. And then you have the leaf pattern. This one is another really, really pretty one. It pretty much has all the colors that I talked about earlier. The other side of that is this pattern. And you have the stripes. And then you have these big, bold white flowers. The cool part is that some of these designs, you can actually use the stamps to stamp right on top. So if you wanted to take these flower stamps, it would actually coordinate with this flower design over here. Same thing with the leaves. You can actually use that to stamp on top, or you can just leave it as is, whichever is your preference. So we start with the petal pink card backing. Now, as most of you already know, I use my bone folder to fold them. So just line yourself up here, hold it, and use your bone folder to fold that into place. Okay, and then we've got our soft succulent, which is really pretty with this design I found, or with this color. And then I'm using the designer paper. So back card 5.5 by 8.5, scored in half, and then 4" by 5.25. And then 3 3/4 by 5. Now I could have left it like this, but I decided to use the leaves that come in here, the bold ones. I actually forgot to put it on my block, so I'm gonna do that right now. I'll take that off. I'm gonna start with the big leaf and my soft succulent ink pad. And I just thought it was kind of fun to add a little bit of color onto the design. I didn't want it to be too dark, so I just stamped off first and then just went right on top. You don't have to be perfect. I actually don't mind when there's a little bit of white on the edges, but I went all over the big leaves like that. There's one more over here. I thought about coloring the flowers too, but I actually just liked it with just this soft succulent on it, so I left them. All right, that one's done. Now we're going to, where did I put my stamp? Oh, right here. Use the little leaf. And these, in case you haven't seen them, are our photopolymer stamps. So they are basically clear, which is really nice. It helps with doing things like this, where you have to actually see through this stamp to be able to stamp proper on it. You can see I'm not doing this perfectly. I actually like kind of the messy look of it all. Let's see, right here. Do I have any more? I think that's it. Okay, so you can see how that color just added a little bit more punch to the design. Next, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal just to add some adhesive to the back and then attach it to my background cardstock. Now with this bundle, so the Friendly Hello bundle that I'm showing you right now, you can get it free with a $120 order right now, which is a really cool deal as part of our celebration sale. So that's obviously in Canada because I'm from Canada. And then what I did next is I used the soft succulent, what is this called again? Open weave ribbon. So you can see it's really pretty. It's got the darker colors on the outside and then kind of like a little mesh on the inside. I've already pre-done my bow that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to cut that off. You know what? Just for make things a little quicker, I'm just going to cut my ends like this. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of this. I want it as long as my cardstock plus a little bit. And we're going to take some adhesive, just put it on the back where you think your ribbon is going to go, place it on top, and then just tuck the ends behind like that. Okay, so once you have it to this step, we can actually adhere this to the back card. Isn't that pretty together? I actually really liked it. So I've pre-cut my circles that I need out of the Layering Circles dies. So I've got this one in shimmery white and then this one in soft succulents. And I'm going to use this one here to stamp the image with Memento ink. I'm going to be coloring it with Stampin' Blends, so I generally always use my Memento ink for that. The beauty of having them be see-through like this is I can see exactly where it's going to go. All right, that is pretty. Now give that a little bit of a chance to dry or use your heat tool just to heat set that a bit before using your Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to start coloring it with my light soft succulent. So you can use either tip. This one's a little bit more pointy though, so I'm just going to color that in. And if you've used our blends before, as they dry, they lighten up a little bit. So I pretty much colored him with just the one color of blend, and then I'm taking my color lifter and I want to use my smaller tip, so this one here, and I'm just going to start to remove some of that color, but just doing kind of small strokes. And with this, again, it's a little hard to see because you have to visualize where it's going to start taking it off. Because as it dries, it actually starts to give a little bit more of a white look to it. And that's what I was looking for. So just a little bit of this, just so that he's kind of a two-tone. So I'll show you on my original card see how you can see a little bit of the difference of color. That's what we're looking for. So I'll let that dry and then I'm going to go on to the next color. So I use the dark petal pink for the flowers. And then next I used the dark pale papaya. So I found that when I tried it with just the two colors of petal pink, it was just a little too light from what I wanted. So I decided to kind of mix the colors a bit. My middle, I did the dark. You're just adding a little bit of highlights in there. And the great thing about this stamp is it kind of shows you with the black lines where those highlights can be. Kind of makes an artist out of everybody here. Okay, so like that. I don't know if you can see the difference. This one has a little bit of the color in it, whereas that one doesn't yet. Next, I took my light and dark crumb cake and just did the branch part of this image. So I just went in with my light first. And then I took the dark one. I just added a little bit of color in there. Then you can go back with the light again and just blend it a little bit so that It has kind of a two tones to that branch because branches generally aren't perfect. All right, so there's where we're at now. Because I like sparkle, I went back in with my Wink of Stella and added some Wink of Stella on the edges of the bird. So I just kind of went all around like this. And then I did my flower as well. I love the Wink of Stella. I pretty much added on most of my cards. Can you see the shimmer? Let's see if I can see it here. There we go. And then next I took this speckled stamp right here and I used it with my Memento ink pad. And I don't want it dark. So again, I stamped off a little bit. Then you can go in and add some of those speckles. I went twice on my cardstock so that it had kind of two different shades. I sometimes do that just with flicking markers or my blends to flick some color. And you can take, I can mask this properly, like I can cut out that bird and mask it properly, but I just wanted to add a little bit of speckles on that side, and so I just cover it a little bit with some paper or cardstock that I have on hand. So now I'm just going to adhere these two layers together. Okay. And then we're going to add dimensionals. I always like to use dimensionals on my cards. It just kind of pops up a layer and just looks better than having everything flat. And we're gonna add it here. I kind of want the flowers to go up a little bit when I added it so that I can put my ribbon in that empty space here. And you know what? I think I'm gonna take my dark soft succulents, just color in those leaves a little bit. All right, like that. Now for this little ribbon bow, I took my mini glue dots. And you can use your fingernails, you can use your paper piercer or paper snips or whatever. Take a little glue dot, stick it on the bow, and then I kind of wanted it right about here so that it doesn't cover too much of the image, but it looks like it's kind of coming off of this ribbon. So lastly, we just have our greeting to do. So I used the Hope You Have the Best Birthday stamp, which is this one here. You can do this in a couple of different ways. So you can either pre-cut your cardstock, where's my ink, and line it up. Because this is a see-through stamp, it's actually not too hard to line it up on a cardstock. So about there. Or the other thing, which is what I normally do, especially if I'm using our rubber stamps, what I normally do is I'll just kind of stamp it to the very bottom of a piece of cardstock. And then I'll take my cutter after and just cut it right to the top, about the same amount of space from the bottom. And then it makes it nice and easy to line that up. But because this one's see-through, like I said, it really is easy to line up. You can cut your ends either with your paper snips, so some scissors, and just cut to make it look like this, or you can use a punch, either a square punch or one that I have like this. I forgot one step though, hold on. We're going to stamp this little sprig thing right over here, like that. Okay, so for this one here, I'm just gonna put it upside down, line it up into the middle and about there. Okay, and then I'm going to color those little sprigs with the dark soft succulents and put a little bit of shimmer on it with my Wink of Stella. So much prettier with some shimmer. And then last, I'm just going to take some dimensionals and add that to the card. This is what it would look like. I used some of the Genial Gems to add a little bit more of something on that card. So what do you think? Is that pretty? I really like it. It's one of our celebration offerings, like I said, for a $120 order. If you haven't looked at the celebration catalog or brochure online, I suggest you do because it's a great time to shop where you can get some free things. So we've got the Island Vibes stamp set right here. You have some designer paper that you can get for free with a $60 order. And I love how Stampin' Up! Puts samples in there to show you. We have the Catching Butterflies with this cute little girl. And then the Driving By stamp set. This designer paper is super cool. It's Sunshine and Rainbows. It comes as a 6x6 pack. You get 48 sheets, they're double-sided, and they coordinate with the Sunshine and Rainbows stamp set that's in the mini catalog right now. And I've used this a lot. It's not just rainbows, there's lots of fun patterns with it. You have the Simply Marvelous designer paper over here, another 6x6 pack. You can see some of the samples on this page with it. And then these cute little otters called the Awesome Otters. And all these ones so far are with a $60 order. Now this is what we featured today. So it's the Friendly Hello stamp set and the Friendly Hello designer paper. And you can see Stampin' Up! Has done some really cool samples too in here. You have a few more options. There is a really pretty greeting set that you can get. And then if you shop and love the products a lot and you get up to a $375 order, you'll also be able to select the Calming Camellia stamp set here, as well as your shopping bonuses and your hostess rewards. So really cool time. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you on the next one. Bye.